Let's turn to our colleges. In July, we put out our guidance for Ohio State public and private colleges, universities, and technical institutions to open in the safest way possible. Administrators have been planning and taking steps to allow for social distancing, provide more living space on campuses, and other measures. Now that students are returning to classes, both in person and virtually, we thought we would invite some students to share their experiences on campus. First, I'd like to introduce Nicholas, Juan, Javi, Bose, Air Bose. Excuse me, Javi. How you doing?
Great. How are you doing, Governor?
I'm good. Hey, thanks for joining us. Where are you from?
Yeah, so I'm from Cary, Ohio, and so I graduated from Cary High School in Wyandotte County.
And you're going to school where now?
Bowling Green State University.
All right. You want to tell us a little bit about the experience this year? It's a little different than past experiences.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely been a different change from my previous 3 years at BGSU. It's definitely, with the de-densification of our campus, there's a lot less students on our campus, which has been, I think, the biggest change in my experience. However, I know the things that we've done as BGSU in our return to campus plan has been for the benefit to help us have this in-person instruction and experience that we want to, the closest to a traditional college experience as we can. And so it's definitely been a different change, but I think from my experience and discussions with my peers, it's been going very, very well, and it's been an effective change to continue. We have 13 weeks left, and we are all in this together as BGSU, and I hope we can continue to do that moving forward.
Well, I see that you're a student body vice president. You all managed to have an election somehow, right?
Yes, that was definitely a change as well. A lot of, not just the undergraduate student government, but organizations in general, with everything changing and back in March, had to do a lot of quick changes in relation to getting their new presidents and new leadership in the organization. So a lot, as classes as well, all went virtual. So we did our best as student leaders to be able to facilitate that in the most effective way.
So tell me, Javi, tell me a little bit about the student attitude on campus. I mean, how are people dealing with this? I mean, it's just different. But I mean, what's the attitude you think among most of the students?
I think it's been relatively positive from a majority, if not all, the students. The constant communication from whether it's professors and faculty members or the higher administration at our institution, it's been a constant reassurance that we as students are first in mind when it comes to decisions that are being made. I know there's been a little bit of a change within like student activities and student involvement, but we have done everything we possibly can while maintaining compliance to continue that traditional experience with being able to meet in person as long as it's a maximum of 10 individuals, 6 feet physical distancing and facial coverings at all times. We've created spaces where that can be done effectively to be able to have that in-person experience. It's just a lot of change, as you noted. But I think the overall attitude has been pretty positive because we have done very well as an institution to really maintain that traditional experience.
So are you taking some courses online?
I am. Yes. So BGSU went with 3 different course delivery methods. And so that's strictly online, which is an asynchronous course. It's a self-paced course. We have a remote option, which is a synchronous course. So you meet at a certain time, just at a remote location. And then we have an in-person and hybrid course delivery method as well, which is a little bit of both, where we go to class maintaining all the compliance set by our university and health organizations, but it's still able to have that in-person educational experience. So I have one in the hybrid method, and it's going, I would say, very well. We wipe our desks down after each class, and then when the next course comes in, they will wipe the desk down again to ensure that it was cleaned properly. And so we're taking all the necessary steps to be able to have that traditional educational experience as well.
So Javi, college experience, part of the experience of college is socialization, meeting new people, going to parties, going to bars, doing all kinds of things. So how do you balance that? That can't be easy. You've got the threat of spread of the virus just on campus, just like you do any place else. How do you balance that?
I think it comes down to just continuation of programming that the institution can put on. So I know last evening we did an alpha art activity where you could go and create your name with different types of letters that were pictures that were taken just from a lot of different locations. So being able to be involved within specifically on campus, because we can guarantee as an institution that this on-campus experience is going to be safe, right? And so how can we ensure that the safety is going to happen off campus? And really it comes down to you as an individual, is how can you do your part to maintain the safety of your peers and the individuals around you? And so we have implemented a Falcon commitment. We have provided options. If you didn't feel safe to attend campus, you could have taken your classes completely online and done it from a remote location, whether it's at home or simply from your apartment bedroom. However, for those who decided to come in person and have that close to traditional experience, we've had these really expectations set in place that we continue to push forward to make sure you're doing your part to help us get these 13 weeks together.
Javi, thank you very much. I forgot to say you're a communication major, right?
I am.
Good. You're doing a good job communicating today.
Thank you.
We appreciate it, and good luck to you and the other students at Bowling Green. Appreciate it very, very much. We'll turn now to Ohio State. With us is Anand Shah, originally from Centerville, and majoring in biomedical research. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Governor DeWine.
How's the experience this year?
The experience has definitely been something different, but I think it's been exciting to return. I mean, every year it's exciting to come back to campus, and I think this year it's been exciting for definitely a couple of different reasons. I think being able to walk around campus, you get to see the way that students are responding to the pandemic, and I think there's a level of perseverance, hope, and optimism about the ability for us to work together to be able to take our campus and to be able to stay on campus. I mean, when it comes to what I thought when I was going to come back, it was, are students actually going to wear masks? Are students actually going to stay socially distant? Are students going to be within their parties of less than 10? And I think it's been interesting to see that in an interesting paradox where in a time when we're supposed to be, physically distant and apart, I think the campus has come more together than I've ever seen. And so that comes not only when you look at people on the Oval who are sitting, in their independent circles 6 feet apart, or when you see people working out in the RPAC, which is a recreational facility, and they're working out in a physically distanced environment. And even when you just walk around campus, I think there's 30,000 kids that are walking around our campus every day. And it's amazing to be able to see the amount of kids that have their masks on, everybody walking physically distant and making sure to stay safe. So it's been a very exciting time, I would say. I have a lot of hope, and I've really seen that we've really come together as Buckeyes. And I think we've found our why is really just trying to make sure we can have our opportunity to stay here as long as possible.
So Ohio State's doing a lot of testing, significant amount of testing. They're putting it up on a web page. From the time you've been back on campus, how long?
I've been back on campus for about, this is my second week. So we've been back on campus for about 4 days. So, yeah. So any difference between when you came on campus the first day and now? I mean, is more people wearing masks, same? Any kind of difference in attitude as you talk to students? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think there's a greater understanding. I think day by day, there's a greater and greater recognition that the ability for our campus to stay open and the ability for our campus to stay healthy is really the hands of the students that are here. I mean, we make up the largest population of anybody who's on our campus, and it really comes down to making sure that we can follow those rules, stay with the guidelines. And I think an attitude has definitely changed. I think coming back to campus, there was an understanding that, mask wearing is a thing and that we need to have fewer than 10 gatherings. But I think with help from the university, help with student leadership, we've been really able to, have those beliefs widespread. And I think the amount of mask wearing has definitely increased. I think people understand that with some of the numbers, as you had mentioned earlier, that the rate in Ohio, the pandemic is an ongoing thing and it's something that isn't going away anytime soon. And I think that's something that students are really starting to recognize as they have a very tangible piece of the puzzle. And without them and without being able to follow those guidelines, it's not going to be something where we'll be able to, enjoy senior year, freshman year, et cetera. So absolutely.
So ownership maybe of kind of the destiny, you see that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would say that students have really taken it from the horns. And I think that spans kind of how Nicholas was saying, where we have student organizations all across campus who have really started to buy in and have bought in from day one to be able to make sure that the causes that we've had across campus kind of all come back to making sure that we stay together as Buckeyes to be able to make sure that every student organization can continue to run. All students have the ability to then still participate. And I think it comes down to programming as well. I mean, when we look at things like Buckeye-thon, an organization who's raising money for pediatric cancer, typically an in-person event every single year, I think you've seen organizations like that transform an entire dance marathon to being completely online and recognizing that we can still have the exact same impact where we can transform and innovate in a greater sense across our campus. And I think that not only for Buckeye-thon, but across all student organizations, we've seen a very, very pivotal shift, but one that I think is utilizing innovation to make the best out of the situation. And not only that, making innovative moves where I think even outside of the pandemic will be beneficial for students.
Thanks for joining us. Good luck to everybody at Ohio State. And thank you. We appreciate it very much.